Monument Next Steps Committee, and I have concerns about this group. And one of them is, and I heard it earlier, the why. And the why can be answered. The why can be answered in your tax base, which is changing in all the communities in South Berkshire, except probably Lennox. The why can be answered in the projections for enrollment, in which South Berkshire is losing 25%, according to the Berkshire Regional Planning Commission, and I know there's some problems with that. The district has projected South Berkshire 25%, and we're 15% in Berkshire Hills. I would like to know why this committee doesn't zero in on 2 high schools in South Berkshire. When I was on the RAC committee, which formed because of the regional agreement in Berkshire Hills, one of the comments that came out of that committee was, why do we have so many high schools in South Berkshire? We only need 2 high schools. We could have a comprehensive high school and an academic high school. If a referendum came from this group, a recommendation from this group for towns in both South Berkshire and Berkshire Hills to have a referendum, a public referendum, that would say, are you in favor of consolidating with the Berkshire Hills Regional School District either on an elementary, a high school, or a complete regional? And that's never been done. We have all of these conjectures up in the air. Well, you know, there's this and that. Well, you know, we had problems back in 1955 and somebody didn't get invited because of some aspects of Protestants and Catholics and all this stuff. Okay. Put a referendum out there. You people should do that. You should, and it should be done probably in Lee and Lennox too. I lived in Lee for a long time, okay? The vote in Lee, and then I was a teacher at Berkshire Hills for 40 years at the high school. Served on the Great Barrington Finance Committee with Paul next to me as chairman for 22 years. I'm aware of the finances. The why is obvious. It's staring you in the face. Declining enrollment and a tax base that is changing. And if the expenses go up and the enrollment goes down, Great Barrington and South Berkshire towns are going to be only for New York City people who can afford second homes up here, and everybody else is going to be gone. Economic inequality is so obvious here. The purpose of this group should be to see that and then to say how we're going to go about it. Now, I understand, I tend to look at things maybe in a simple, direct way. There's governance problems that can be overcome. There's the problems with Monument Mountain Regional High School, and I've heard it from some people in Sheffield. We don't want to be stuck paying for that building. Great. We have a RAC agreement that we change the way funding will be done, and I could almost assure you that the building and whatever needs to be done with Monument Mountain will not cost other towns. It's going to be a Berkshire Hills Regional School District responsibility. And it should be. It shouldn't be left to Sheffield or South Berkshire or Lee to help subsidize us. That's our problem, and it can be dealt with before any other aspect. And that should be out there, because I think there's a fear that people maybe in other towns saying, well, I don't want to get stuck paying for a building that my kids aren't going to. I think the why can also be asked, and if you look at a model, maybe, I don't know what your name is, Molly, I heard, and you're from Lennox. I think there can be small schools kept, not too small. Egermont's one-room schoolhouse, I just cannot believe that South Berkshire is putting money into that. It's $120,000 plus what the Egermont is doing, all for 14 kids. That to me tells you something right there. I think you could keep smaller elementary schools, which seems to be a problem, and then merge into 2 high schools. And then that would address the communities. You could still keep your elementary school, because that's where the parents are. I mean, I taught for 40 years, Paul did too. I mean, parents' night sometimes on the high school level, as Jack Spencer, God rest his soul, would always say, you get the parents out for elementary parents' night and middle school parents' night, and then they're scared to go into the high school because the kids don't want their parents there anymore, so you don't get many parents, okay? So we know the interest is on the elementary and the middle school, especially the elementary. Look at 2 high schools and do a referendum in those towns that should be affected. okay?
Well, that's
Sure. I'm on a roll.
Bill, you have anything else?
It's a clarifying question, but is it irresponsible to have a referendum about something that there's not a plan for?
Well, you get, is there a support for something? And I think we hearing all this, well, the public, what does the public think? And a referendum, non-binding referendum maybe would be the way to, okay, because we've had some people in Great Barrington say, why doesn't Sheffield and South Berkshire do a referendum in their 7 towns? Do they want to move in with Berkshire Hills? And maybe you'll see the answer is, yes, they do. Okay, then you go from there. The interest is there. Maybe maybe the interest isn't there. Maybe what I've heard tonight is that everybody wants to have their own little school, their own little way of governance. Fine, but how do we know?
Because Bill, and we're gonna move on.
I know.
Is, we've just started talking, and I think, as Bob pointed out, having a referendum now without any details is setting us up for failure to start. We need to have some details. Just to say, do you want us to combine without any details? I think this group is moving in the right direction, never as fast as I would like, but that's because I'm always anxious about it. But I think it's going in a steady direction, and it's not gonna happen in the next 6 months, but I think some good things could happen, but consolidation or regionalization, it takes more than one group to want to do it, and that it's a slow process.
Well, why I bring it up is because one of the topics on our Monument Next committee is going to be expanded. Do we look at an expanded high school that will accommodate another high school region?
So just to close this, I think the charge of your committee was not to discuss regionalization or school choice, but to decide on a size to build the building.
Right.
And I will guarantee you that we will not be ready to regionalize when you make your report in June to our school committee.
Oh, I agree there, but in the future, are we looking at a high school that would accommodate another district? And that has to be looked at in regards to what we're gonna do with that building. Because there's gonna be people that are gonna say, no.
Well, with all due respect, that's our problem, not theirs.
Okay.
That's how I look at it. And I'm not being flip about it.
Okay, I know.
We've been set down twice, and
I know.
and if it had been approved before, we probably wouldn't be at this point. Paul, do you want to add to this?
I don't have too much to add, except that I'm listening here and I'm trying to figure out, you're gonna spend maybe $6,000 for 10 meetings or whatever, that committees are the way you kill things. And that's what I think, listening to all the people here, all have good intentions, it sounds to me that this is a way to kill anything. You need to move, and you need to have, you need to have some courage to go into the community and find out what they want or what they'll support, just like Bill said. You don't need a big detail, it's a simple thing. Ask them, see what they'll tell you. If they tell you no, then damn it, go another direction. That's what Bill and I are talking about. But putting in another committee and facilitators and everything like that, to me, it just sounds like you don't really want to do anything.
Paul, can I ask another clarifying question? A referendum is one way to get feedback. Would you be interested in a well-written survey that might be more nuanced as a way to get feedback? Or do you think it's not valuable?
Just ask the people. Ask them, do you support the merger with another district?
I think
That's
it's-
it.
Ask them. Put it on a town
You
meeting.
want a referendum
I
on
think the
it?
thing is that if you're
Go to
going
town
to,
meeting.
They'll tell you.
if you want to hear from as many
Use the vehicle
voters
of
as
a town meeting.
possible, then you do it as a referendum. If you do a survey,
You get
it's hit or miss.
20%.
You do a
Some people will
referendum,
fill out a
every voter
survey.
has a chance to come out and vote.
You could do it on why couldn't it be done on a town election?
It could be.
It could.
And it could be something very broad. Are you interested in consolidating schools?
And it could have some substance in it. It could be narrowing down to, would you be in favor of a consolidation of South Berkshire and Berkshire Hills if it had the following?
The cool mascot.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Eagle on the spark.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Very